we are all more than capable of falling silent on people for lots of various reasons. So when it comes to a narcissistic person falling silent on us, we are often left questioning, what have we done? How have we upset them? What's wrong with them? How can we help them? And we often usually end up chasing them for these answers to try and understand the dynamics of what is happening and to try and work with them. However, with a narcissistic person, they've usually fallen silent on you because, yes, they might have perceived some form of hurt towards you, from you. However, that hurt is usually they didn't get their own way or they felt criticised in some way. So they're then seeking to punish you. You might have just found out about something that they have done to you to hurt you. So then they fall silent on you. They go and cheat on you. And then they fall silent on you to almost wind you up in one sense, but they don't want to communicate about it. They're more offended that you found out than anything else. And they don't want to feel ashamed, so they're going to go all out to avoid you because they have wronged you. Now, with a narcissistic person, you can try as many different ways that you can possibly think of to make things work with them. And then it can be something minor after lots of major things, or something major after lots of minor things, or something major after lots of major things. There's just one thing where you finally, you've had enough and you're just not interested in dealing with them anymore. Or if you are still dealing with them, they just chip away at you, they insult you, they mock you, they humiliate you, they judge you to the point where you don't have the energy to speak. You're that drained. You don't want to say the wrong thing. So you shut down who you are as a defense mechanism. However, when it comes to a narcissist, because they're not coming from the same place you're coming from, they don't see it as they lack the empathy, to see it as they've hurt your feelings. They often believe that you are trying to hurt them with your silence as they're trying to hurt you with their silence. They often believe that you've fallen silent because you've been caught out on something that you haven't even done. But as that is how they react, when they get found out, they fall silent. They believe that you're guilty of something. So that's why you have fallen silent on them. We often think they're coming from the place we're coming from. They think we're coming from the place they're coming from. So this video is just to explore a little bit more about how a narcissistic person will react to your silence. So if you are still around a narcissist and you've stopped playing their games, you've learned to no longer react to them in any way. With a narcissistic person, they're going to take offense to this and they're usually going to double down in their baiting. They're usually going to go all out to manipulate you, to emotionally manipulate you, to drain you, to gaslight you, to chip away at you, to get that reaction from you. And the longer you remain silent towards them, the more offended they're going to get. They can often turn around and accuse you of being the grumpy one, especially if there's an audience. If other family members or friends or children are around, they can turn around and go, oh, aren't they grumpy today? Or they're always in a bad mood. See, look what I have to put up with, because they are looking to get you on the defensive. They will look to do things around the home to wind you up. They will look to do all the things you've explained to them that they understand that you don't like. They will start doing all those things to gain that desired reaction from you. So if you've got freshly laid carpets and you've made a joint decision that you're not going to wear shoes upstairs, the narcissist is going to be wearing those shoes upstairs. They're looking to provoke you into communicating with them so that they don't have to open up communication with you. They will be the life and the soul with all those around you, laughing and joking and usually making jokes at your expense, and then telling everyone, oh look, you're the one that can't take the joke. They're looking to get that reaction from you so that they can blame everything on you. Now, when you are no longer with a narcissistic person and you have chosen or been able to choose the route of no contact and you have fallen silent on them, the narcissist is usually going to go all out to wait for you to chase them. And if you're not chasing them in a time frame that suits the narcissist, if they've got a new source of supply lined up, they'll just wait. If they haven't got a new source of supply lined up, they're going to find a way to bait you into communicating with them. More often than not, they're going to go straight for ignoring you back to try and get you to chase them as you have done previously. If that doesn't work, similar to being in the home, they're going to start going around talking badly about you. They're going to start smearing your name. They're going to bring a third person into it. They might get that third person to check up on you for the narcissist. They might get that third person to come to you and say, oh, so-and-so is devastated that you won't talk to them after all they've done for you, and accuse you of being the abusive one by falling silent on them. They might start accusing you of doing things that you haven't done. So you naturally want to defend yourself. And you're defending yourself to the very person that's going to go running back to the narcissist and feed the narcissist all the information they want. So even though you've fallen silent on them, they're getting that communication via a third person. They're going to go all out to play the victim of how you've wronged them, how you're the one with the spending issues, with the addictions in some way. Again, to provoke you into defending yourself. Or even to try and bait you to beg the narcissist to stop. No matter how much you beg a narcissistic person to stop, they will keep going to push you past your limits, to gain that reaction from you so they can blame everything on you, so that they can stand back, act shocked, play the victim and accuse you of the one who is going crazy. They might go all out to triangulate, to flaunt that new source of supply in front of you, to try and provoke those feelings of jealousy within you, to try and get you going. Now, if you have children with a narcissist, you might not be able to go no contact. You might have then gone limited contact and grey rock. So you're refusing to fall for their bait. You're refusing to fall for their traps. You're sticking to business-like communication. They're looking to wind you up. So this is when they're going to start letting the children down, to try and provoke that reaction from you, to try and get you to say, hey, what about the children? And they can turn around to their new supply and say, look, they're obsessed with me. They won't leave me alone. And as soon as you start creating some form of boundaries to create that routine, because you can see how much it's hurting those children, they're going to play the victim of how you're the one that's stopping them from seeing their own children, while they play happy family with the new supplies children. So to the outside world, the narcissist gaslights everybody. They set the environment to look like the person they could be, to sell people an illusion that benefits the narcissist narrative, and they back you into a corner where your response makes you look like the toxic one. Narcissistic people are highly offended when you fall silent on them. They believe they're entitled to your time and attention. And if they cannot get the positive attention they so strongly desire from you, the admiration, the praise, the gratitude, they're going to go all out to provoke those negative reactions so that they can blame everything on you, so that they can accuse you, so that they can walk away without taking any form of responsibility for their behaviour. When you fall silent on a narcissist, they will find ways to drag you through the court system, which is just one big act for a narcissist, where they can either play the victim or the hero to the courtroom and gain the validation from the judges and the solicitors and the lawyers in the courtroom that you're indeed the crazy one. And the more you remain calm is when a narcissistic person is more likely to actually rage out at you in the courtroom. When those in the courtroom are not believing the narcissist's lies, we all know within ourselves when someone is emotionally manipulating us to a point and no one is listening to us and no one is understanding us, our emotions can flood out and we can react. And sometimes the person who's acting emotionally unstable is the person who is being emotionally abused. However, other times the person who is acting emotionally unstable is the abuser who's no longer able to brainwash those around them. So in a courtroom, if the people aren't falling for the narcissist's lies, the narcissist can then suddenly start attacking you, raging out at you, accusing you. They'll still blame everybody else. The judge was biased. The solicitors took your side. You lied. They're still going to blame you, which is why it's very difficult to differentiate between the narcissist and the victim, because narcissistic people play the victim oh so well in order to gain that attention that they believe they're entitled to, and they lack the empathy to care for how their behaviour affects you or those around them. When it comes to a narcissist, when you have made a choice to go no contact or to go limited contact, to no longer react to them, to remain silent towards them, you have to stick to that choice, because more often than not they are going to double down, usually via a third person, to try and gain that reaction from you. And once they've got that reaction from you, they know what works. So then when you go back to square one to start again, they're going to escalate their games. They're going to double down again to gain that reaction from you. So when you've made a choice, you have to do your utmost to stick to it. It's very difficult and we can all slip up. However, we just have to keep going and keep going until we achieve. As more often than not, when you remain silent to a narcissist and a narcissist isn't getting what they want from you, they get bored. They'll still smear your name, they'll still blame you, they'll still refuse to take responsibility. However, they will get bored and they will unfortunately move on to a new source of supply and leave you alone because they're not getting their needs met by you. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have a new book out on Amazon, which is 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People, if you'd like to go and check that out, which I will also add into the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.